is up, guys? So first things first, my makeup has nothing to do with this video. Basically, I filmed the video and I forgot to film an intro. And the way that happened was because I normally do my intros starting out the video, but I decided, hey, I'll wait till my makeup's complete since we're teaching makeup and show them the final look. But because I did that, I forgot to film the intro, and we can't have a video without an intro. Hello! Sometimes I'm just so ADD and my mind's so crazy. I'm a human being. I mess up. So I'm making the intro right now for this video, and yeah, that's what it's gonna be. So today I'm gonna teach you guys how to blend your eyeshadow like a pro. This is a very in-depth video. I'm a little bit more serious in this video, or more calm, I should say, my version of calm. But I really wanted to focus in. So many people ask me so many questions about eyeshadow and blending it and how to apply it and get it that soft, smooth gradient look. So I thought I would take the time in this video to really go in depth and teach you guys. So this is a very, very in-depth video. That's why it's kind of long, and that's what we're gonna do today. But without further ado, let's go ahead and sing a little song. Be sure and subscribe to my channel before you leave. Subscribe. That was probably really loud because I grabbed my mic, but let's go ahead and jump right into the video. She ain't got lipstick on her teeth. Her wing liner's looking good. And by the way, I paused about halfway through this video and had to go to the store, and I've been gone for like 3 hours and my makeup still looks good. So this makeup lasts. I'm telling you guys, you're gonna learn some tricks today. Hope you're ready. Hope you're ready. Okay. So jumping right in, my gray hair has come to haunt us all. It always comes back and it brings all of its friends. First, I like to start off with my eye makeup, doing my eyebrows. If you like to do this last, there's no wrong in that. I just personally like to do my eyebrows first. So I'm going to be using the Precisely My Brow Pencil in shade number 4. I've been using this for a long time. What I like to start to do is actually start the eyebrows at the bottom. Oh, I have a nose itch. I'm not picking my nose. Like that. And this pencil is very pigmented. As you can see, I barely touch my eye. So you want to use a light hand, and you also want to do baby hair-like strokes. That's the point in the pencil, having its small little tip like that. Shazam! So I carve out the bottom of the brow first. I'm also missing a gap of hair right there on both sides. So I like to draw a straight line and not follow that gap. That way we're filling in the missing hair gap. And then I'll go ahead and line out the top. I won't start right here. I kind of start midway through and then start slowly combing it through with little hair-like strokes. This is going to make it look a lot more natural. So right about diagonal, I go ahead and start my little archy right there. I'm also missing a lot of hair that just will not grow back from all that waxing I did back in high school. If you didn't know, me and 4 other influencers partnered up with Benefit, and we are on the packaging of some Benefit products, and my product is the Precisely My Brow Pencil. So if you go in Sephora and you're able to pick it up, you'll have a little piece of me with you because I'm on the packaging. Thank you so much, Benefit, for working with me on this product, and this is my tried and true favorite brow product. Go in with a little bit more of a heavier hand. And then this area, what I like to do is draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hair strokes upward where it's very sparse. I don't want it to be too blocky. And the key is combing through in the front of the brows, so it's not very square. And then I always use my finger and just swipe up. And that is my eyebrow. And as you can see, it's honestly a huge difference. I'm going to go ahead and fill in this brow, and then we'll be right back. Cool, we now have both eyebrows drawn in, and now a really good trick. We're going to get into eyeshadow, and this part has to do with eyeshadow, and I highly recommend this trick, is to take a concealer. For me, I like to use the MAC Pink Pot and Soft Ochre. I've probably been using this for 6 or 7 years on my eyebrows to carve them out, and this is just the best eyeshadow primer to me. If you're not into a concealery eyeshadow primer, I know Smashbox makes a great one. So I like to use this product with a flat synthetic brush, something that looks like this. This is an M421, and this one is genius for carving out the brows because it's not too long and it's very flat, so you can get precise. So I like to brush it on there and get it on both sides of it, coating both sides of the brush. And then I will go underneath the brows. Now sometimes if I'm feeling more natural, I won't carve out this eyebrow. I'll leave it as it is because it looks pretty good. Carving out the brows also allows for covering these hairs that need to be plucked. I'm going to do that. I like to go right underneath. small strokes instead of one big stroke. And then whenever I like run thin on product, I'll just flip the brush over. That's why I get the product on both sides of my brush. See a little trick right there. We'll just carve it on out like that. And then I'm gonna get a little bit more of my brush and just paint it all over my eyelid. And this is the great part that we're gonna use, because guess what, guys? We just applied our eyeshadow primer. And then I'm gonna tap it out. Make sure your product's also on there really smooth, guys. If you feel chunkiness, that might mean your paint pot's dried out, you know? It's time for a new one. Mine normally dry out before I can use the whole thing, but I pretty much use the whole thing. And we'll do the exact same thing on the other eye, but this just looks a little bit more clean. These hairs probably need to be plucked, but I don't think they ruin the look. Get what I'm saying? Now we are jumping into eyeshadow. I highly recommend you find yourself some good eyeshadow. That's just a great tip, and I know it sounds stupid, but using crappy eyeshadow, it may not be you having the problem, it may be the product that you're using, and good eyeshadow doesn't always have to be expensive. Today I'm going to be using the 35F palette from Morphe. This is like a $22 palette, and you get all these shades. And also, I recently just did a drugstore dupes eyeshadow palette, so if you want to click that video and find some like palettes from the drugstore that work out great, you can do that. You don't always have to spend a lot of money to get great eyeshadows, but just make sure you're getting the right eyeshadow, because there are drugstore or really affordable palettes that are crap and not worth your money, and they may be forfeiting your eye look for the price. So just make sure you're spending your money, saving your money the right way on eyeshadows. I think these are great, and the reason I'm going to be using this palette today and picked it specifically because of this row right here. I'm going to show you guys how to use, you know, do a neutral great eyeshadow look, and this palette has those in it. Also, I find that makeup brushes help too. We're going to go over makeup brushes as I go and what makeup brushes I love and why I'm using them. This is an M535. It is a fluffy brush, and it's a medium fluffy brush, and because this is so, look at that, how tacky that is. You don't want to go in with some eyeshadow. It's not going to blend on that. It's going to be way too tacky. So you can take a cream bone shade, or you can take a shade like this guy right here, which is very, it's like warm, but it comes off very translucent and light. So I'm going to swirl it on the top of my brush, and then I'm just going to kind of go all over, like back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what we're doing is we're softening up the eyeshadow primer with this color, and that way whenever we go in with a transition shade, it won't just like clunk and stick together. And a palette, I love when I see a palette has like a neutral matte shade in it. I'm just like, yes, please, and thank you. Give me something to soften up that eyeshadow primer. And this brush is so soft, so it's great for just fluffing around color like that. The next brush I'm going to use is an R39. It's tapered at the top, and it is a small, I'm trying to show you, hello, get in focus, excuse me. Thank you. It's a smaller blending brush, so it's great for medium to small eyelids. If you have really big eyelids, you can continue on with the first brush we were using, but I like to downsize a little bit more, and this is just a tad bit more dense, so it's going to pick up a little bit more color. So next, what I like to do is bump the color up one. Our eyeshadow primer is softened, but we don't want to just go in and explode dark color all over our eye. So I'm now going to go in with this shade right here, which is just a little bit deeper. You see we're moving on up in life. You could even use something cool like this. I'm going to go with something warm as a transition shade. One thing I like to do is get it on one side of my brush, not both sides, and tap off the excess, and you'll literally see we lost some color there, and that's good because we don't want that color to explode and fall out on our eye. And what I'm going to do is flip the brush upside down, clean eyeshadow, plug it in your crease, and then as you can see, like my hand is so light. I'm going to start at the outer corner, and I'm doing like the babyest possible, like wee motions to softly blend that out. Not having a fully loaded brush also helps the process. So I am just very softly. And so once I feel like the color is pretty much all placed on the outer corner, I will take what's left of the color and start to sweep it forward into the inner crease, because I don't want this much pigment over here unless I'm doing like a spotlight smoky eye where I got the inner and outer corner looking deeper. But right now we're just doing like a typical eyeshadow look. So we'll do very light pigment in the inner corner and then darker pigment on the outer corner. So you can do a little back and forth. I prefer both motions, like the whole wind wiper. Oh my Lord, I forgot how to use words. Windshield wiper motion, and then I also like to go with the small baby circles. Those are two different ways of doing it. And then here I go. Ooh, 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 ooh. It's okay if you get it down on your eyelid too. Look at that. I mean, you could literally, even just with that, learning how to do that and getting a good medium-sized brush in that crease, that could be your eyeshadow look. I had the brush up where I'm going to flip it downward. I'm going to go ahead and hit that outer corner. Look how soft and small strokes I'm going. Be sure and take your time too. Breathe in, breathe out. Look at these tiny ass strokes. Just, I'm not going back and forth huge. I'm not blending it hugely. And I'm getting a really soft look out of doing this. Go ahead and hit it in the center. And again, whatever's left on our brush, we're going to move on right there. Right on in that inner corner. And if you notice, I'm getting a little bit wider, and it's because I barely have any product left on my brush, so I'm just moving that outer edge of shadow right there. I'm going to do this eye and be back with a darker color. Alright, we are ready to move from this shade. I'm going to skip this really cool shade and keep moving on and going with this guy right here. A little bit deeper. And what I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to tap the top of the brush, the tip of the top of the brush, and then tap off the excess, or you can like flick it if you want to. And so now I have such a small amount of color at the tip of this brush. It's the same brush, the R39 that I'm using. Yes, R39. And I'm going to focus it right, same spot, but we're going to keep it a little bit lower. Ooh, girl. A little bit more. I just tapped again into the color. A little bit lower. Also, if you hold your brush with like a looser hand instead of really tight, you'll be able to flex the brush around more. So kind of like gently hold the brush, like really light-handedly, like you could almost drop the brush. Then you're gonna do those tiny, tiny circle motions right in that crease, girl. Get it, get it, get it. Yeah. And now I'm gonna take a little bit more. I dipped into the color again. Look how soft I'm going. Back and forth, really close to the lower lash line. Keeping it real low. I have such a small amount of color, I don't have to worry about it exploding everywhere. It's like a mukbang. I feel like I'm talking so soft, but I'm really close to my mic right now, and I don't want to blow you guys' eardrums. So just bear with me. Because the color is deeper, if you notice, we're kind of focusing it mostly towards the outer edge. The deeper you go, the lower I typically keep the color. You can also take that M535 and where this edge, this edge is honestly fine, but if you want to get real soft, since it is just got that soft shade that doesn't really show up on it, you can take it and just go ahead and smooth that out. Give it a little extra blend right on that edge. Notice I'm not pushing it in the crease. I'm going to go back in, and you can kind of go back and forth with that motion. Now I'm going to do my other eye. We are ready to transition down to a different color. You can use like a chocolatey brown if you want to, or you can use a warm tone. Since this palette has a nice warm tone right here, I can't help but to use it. Kind of creepy with me like poking my head around the palette, but I'm going to use the same brush, still R39. You don't have to have 50,000 brushes. This brush is really just a gem. To do your makeup, I'm going to get it at the exact same spot, just right there on the tip of the brush, and I'm going to tap off the excess, and we're going to keep this color pretty low because it is very warm. And I'm going to go ahead and start putting it right on top of the other colors. If you're wondering why I use so many brown colors, if you notice, it is very gradient as the color goes up. It doesn't look like I just have one color on my eye. So I normally start from light to dark, and then I normally keep it the darker I go, the lower I stay kind of moment there. And it really helps the eyeshadow look to look really beautiful. Like you use 20 colors, but really we just use we've used 4, okay? So that's a lot of color, but it just looks so pretty whenever you take your time and use like a few different browns. And I'm kind of doing the same thing, you know, focusing the bulk of it on the outer corner. The outer corner can take a lot of shadow, and then whenever my brush is pretty much empty of shadow, I'll go ahead and swing it forward just really lightly. And I'm going to go back with that M535, that fluffy brush, and do the same thing. Smooth out those edges. This palette has like quite an arrangement of soft shimmery shades. I'm actually going to go in with this one that's a little bit deeper. If you have a lighter skin tone, these are really beautiful. But I'm going to go in with this one. It has like a gold undertone. I'm going to use that M421, the one we carved out our eyebrows with. Actually, I have 2 of these brushes as well because I love them a lot for a lot of different uses. And we are going to pat the color on one side of the brush like Wait, where's my color? Oh yeah, it's this one. Just swiping that color on one side. So you don't have to wet your eyeshadows. I actually love to. I'm just gonna use a little bit of setting spray. You can use water, you can use your favorite setting spray, you can use whatever you want, but if you can see right there, the brush is wet. And I love wetting the shadows because you're gonna see why. You deal with so much less fallout. And they just become sticky, so much more pigmented. These shadows don't have to be wet. A lot of shadows don't have to be wet. I just prefer it. And once you start doing it, it's kind of hard to go back. So with the shimmery shade, if you notice, I'm doing a completely different technique and I'm placing it in the opposite end. I'm placing it in the inner corner and I'm pressing the shadow down. This brush has a rounded tip, so it's really nice because it snatches the crease perfectly right in there because it doesn't have a square tip. So you want to get a brush with a rounded tip and then boom, put it right up to the crease, right where your crease starts. If you have hooded eyes, you can cheat it and like take it up to here and make it look like your crease. And that way whenever you're looking forward, your eyeshadow, see how you would be hooded? Your eyeshadow would be up here and it would make you look a lot less hooded. Just take your time pressing shadows. I'm going about halfway on the eyelid. And where this harsh line is, we're gonna fix that, no worries. I have a little bit of our deepest brown color on my R39 brush, and to smooth out this harsh edge, I'm ever so lightly going to take the tip of the brush and just pull that shadow outward. Little baby strokes. Like that. And then you can also take your shimmery brush, go back and forth, pull the shadow as well. For eyeliner, I'm going to take one of my favorite liners on the market. This is the NYC liquid liner. It's just honestly the best for beginners. It's such a good liner brush too, and this is so affordable. I have to get it off Amazon now. It's kind of hard to find in the United States, but I'm going to go ahead and line very thinly, starting at the inner corner. So I'm just going to take it all the way across. And then I'm just going to go whoop, just the edge, and get such a tiny amount of product on this brush. Just so tiny. And today I'm going to wing it out. So I like to start in that corner of my eye with a flattened brush. And then I'm going to, I kind of did two wings there, kind of messy. That's okay. Because I'm just going to bring it on back. Small baby strokes. Like that. Gonna flicker up to clean up that wing. And then we got a little bit of work to do right here. I'm going to pop on some Lily lashes. I will link them down below, Layla. While the lash glue is drying, hello. I'm going to take this shade right here, about our third shade in, I believe. I'm going to take an M210 brush. It's still fluffy, but it's kind of a straight line, pretty flat at the top and dense. So it's great for the under eye area. I'm going to get some on the tip of the brush and tap the brush off, and then I'm going to blend it on the lower lash line. I don't like to neglect the lower lash line. I feel like it looks pretty bald down there, and you can really complete a look by just smoking that out a little bit. So I like to strictly just kind of go back and forth right underneath the lashes, but keeping it kind of tight to the lashes. And the darker the color, I like to keep it more towards the outer corner versus like pushing a darker color all the way across. It comes off a little bit heavy. This color is pretty light, not too dark, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it on the inner corner. Next, I'm going to take the warm tone color, and with the exact same brush, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to keep this color a little bit tighter up, and I'm also not going to take it all the way to the inner corner. I'm just going to take it about halfway. And like that, you have an easily done smoked out lower lash line. I'm going to take MAC Feline liner. This is just a black pencil liner, and I'm going to do the waterline. I'm only going to put this color in the waterline. I'm going to make sure not put it down on the skin. Sometimes I accidentally do, and that's okay. Lastly, I'm going to take my Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir mascara, and I'm going to pop it on the lower lashes by wiggling the wand back and forth, trying very hard not to bump my skin, although sometimes I do that anyways. Lastly, if you want to, this step's optional. You can take an M236 M326, hello dyslexic. And you can take a light shimmery shade. I'll take this second shade right here. And you can pop it on the inner corner, which is really gonna open up that inner corner of the eye and make your eyes look very awake and open. And you can also take the same brush and just pop a little bit on the upper lash line, but not too much. This can give you a little lift and tie everything together. And lastly, I like to take a little bit of the NYC liquid liner and just run it across the lash band to make sure everything is matte and black. This is the final look, guys. I hope that it was helpful for you guys. I hope you learned some and I answered some of your questions when it comes to applying eyeshadow. Now you can apply eyeshadow like a pro. I'll have everything I used in this video linked down below in the description box, including the Precisely My Brow Pencil. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure and subscribe to my channel before you leave. Anyways, I love you guys to death, and I'll see you all in my next video. Subscribe today. Subscribe today. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys. Girl, that eyeshadow is looking good. Okay, we're done here.